I wanted to start off by just welcoming a few of the special guests we have with us here in the audience before we get to our featured speaker today. One, I wanted to welcome an outstanding group of teachers who have come from across Southern California to spend the day learning about the Medal of Honor Character Development Program. Thank you for coming today. I also wanted to thank, we have a group of outstanding student leaders as part of a new student leadership program we've just started up this summer here at the Foundation. So hello to our student leaders who are up on the second level. Thank you. And I also wanted to recognize the Foundation's Chief Administrative Officer, Ms. Joanne Drake, who's here in the front. Thank you for coming out today. It's tradition that we start each of our programs with the Pledge of Allegiance, so in order to do that, I wanted to invite 4 of our student leaders up to lead us in the pledge. So please stand.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You guys did a great job. Thank you. Well, it's in some ways it's quite fitting that we have a great temporary exhibit that's on display here at the library until September, and it's on Abraham Lincoln. In some ways that ties in very nicely with our speaker today because, as you are probably well aware, it was under President Lincoln that the Medal of Honor was created in July of 1862. We at the Foundation are proud of our continued partnership with the folks at the Congressional Medal of Honor Foundation, which this is our 3rd year of partnering with them to help share some of the great curriculum resources they have. And here in the museum, we have a Heroes Gallery, and there is a kiosk. For those of you who have been through the museum, I see a lot of folks with membership stickers, so you've maybe been through several times, but there's a great kiosk that has video living histories of each of the Medal of Honor recipients. And I don't want to speak for President Reagan. Certainly I'm not qualified to do so, but there's a part of me, the educator part of me, likes to think that if he were here to walk around the museum, he would find himself drawn to that particular gallery. As you know, he had a fondness for stories, and these are some really incredible, powerful stories. And he was also an incredible supporter of our men and women in uniform. So there's a part of me that thinks this would be his 2nd favorite gallery, after, of course, the First Lady's gallery. So the Congressional Medal of Honor Foundation has taken these living histories and turned them into one of the most powerful pieces of curriculum that I've seen. In a day and age where we have a lot of discussion about what's important in education being related to scores that happen in math and literacy, this is a program that focuses not on those things, but on character. The program is called Medal of Honor, Lessons of Personal Bravery and Self-Sacrifice, and it helps students explore the concepts of courage, commitment, sacrifice, patriotism, integrity, and citizenship. Now, I know that there are probably a few of you who are in the audience who might say to a program like this, forget the children, let's take it straight to Washington. There's a politician or two who could learn a little bit about that. But I can't speak to that. What I can tell you is that as a result of our partnership and other partnerships they have here in California, this is a program that hundreds of teachers and thousands of students have participated in. And it's a life-changing program. And it's because of dedicated men like our special guest today, Colonel Bruce Crandall, that this program is so successful. Long after serving his country as one of the most decorated and accomplished pilots, he continues to serve his country as an educator and speaks with teachers and students throughout the year. Now, it's a rare privilege and pretty distinct honor to receive the Medal of Honor. How rare? So it's not easy to become an Olympian. If you look at our Olympic team in 2012, there were 530 members of the U.S. Olympic team. It's difficult to be elected to the House of Representatives. We have 435 representatives. With the passing of Major Day on July 27th, there are currently 78 living recipients. And President Obama just announced the other day there's going to be a 79th, Staff Sergeant Ty Carter, who will be recognized next month. I won't say too much about the events that led to Colonel Crandall receiving the Medal of Honor, because he can do that far better than I ever could. But the short version is that over the course of 14 and a half hours, he flew his helicopter repeatedly. I was going to say 22, but we were talking right before we came out, and he said that that's what's on his citation, but he said there was many more flights than 22. That was just the first helicopter that he was in. But he made repeated flights into a red-hot combat area, and as a result of his actions, troops were resupplied, people's lives were saved, the wounded were evacuated. President Reagan, in his inaugural address, said that those who say that we're in a time where there are not heroes, they just don't know where to look. If that's the case for any of you, I'll tell you where to look. It's right here at this podium in about 5 seconds when Colonel Bruce Crandall comes to speak. So please join me in welcoming Colonel Bruce Crandall.
You probably noticed that I brought a cage up. It's not for my kids, it's a dog in there. First off, I want to know, is Artie or Don Wapshall in the... Oh, God, they know more about me than anybody should know. I want you to promise not to say anything. Because Artie was the city clerk in Dunsmuir, California, when I was the city manager there in 1977 to about 80. I think you were there until 79? Yeah, well, promise? We went through Prop 13 during that time frame, and I like combat better. I won't talk very much about what I did in Vietnam, because it was a joint effort, and those of us that wear the medal know that we wear it by circumstance. I had a history of being able to get into trouble and out of trouble without much trouble. And my time in Dunsmuir proved that. I am the father of 3 sons. All of those have master's degrees or better and have been very successful young men. They were Eagle Scouts, they were acolytes in their church, and they were almost straight A students, and that was because I married the right woman. She says she raised 4 boys, and that was true. When I went to Vietnam, the boys had to move back to Seattle. My wife and I, in 54 years of marriage, had 53 homes. We actually had 52 homes in 44 years, because their last home we lived in for 10 years, and I'm there now. I lost her last November, but I had her for 54 years, and I loved her for 58. I proposed to her when she was 16. Don't you kids get any ideas? I didn't marry her for another 4 years, but I kept proposing every year to let her know how I felt. When you first came in the Army, the Army said that if the Army wanted you to have a wife, they'd issue you one. I saw the crud they were issuing, so I went right home and proposed to Arlene. And that worked out quite well. The reason I bring that up is the boys had to move every time that we moved, and they had to have different schools. But they were well grounded in the things that we talk about in the CDP. My wife was that, and we couldn't stay in one place long enough for the boys to play sports or to do the things that most young people do. But they were grounded well enough that they could stay away from the trouble that they could have gotten into. We lived in Bangkok, Thailand, for example, and drugs were readily available. But if those boys had gotten into that kind of thing, my career would have been gone. So they had to behave, and they did. There's not that kind of restriction in a lot of places in the United States. And we think that the character development program is an asset that can be used to reach these young people that don't have enough self-respect, don't have enough understanding of what courage is. We want the understanding of courage to be the ability to say no when it's the right answer, or yes when it is also. Now, before I go on with my lecture, everybody's looking at my Stetson. Now quit that. When I went into the White House, I was in the cav, and that's what this is. It's a cav. And when I went into the White House, we were out in the outer room waiting for the president to come to visit with us a little bit before we went in for the ceremony. And it was President George W. And his aide came in, a Air Force general in a civilian clothes. And he walked up to me and he says, "That's not appropriate." I said, "Sir?" He says, "The hat is not appropriate." I said, "Stetson, sir. The Stetson's not appropriate." He says, "The Stetson's not appropriate." And I told him, "Well, rest assured, sir, this is not the last inappropriate thing I'm going to do in my life." My wife took my good conduct medal away. I have had the privilege in the last couple of years to be the mentor for the new recipients, Sal Gunta and Leroy Petrie and Clint, and I will have Ty when he gets the award, because he's at Fort Lewis, and I've already had a little conversation with him. And I use the Stetson as a training tool for them, and the Good Conduct Medal. They all have the Good Conduct Medal under their lapel, because that is a lot harder to explain than this. And if you notice, I didn't say that I earned this. I just have it. And they have to understand that the award of the medal is for everyone who should have gotten it that didn't. It's for the people in their unit that helped them, and they just happen to end up with it. The Good Conduct Medal, that's on your own. You've got away with something for at least a year. Now, they are all outstanding young men. If you ever heard them speak, they're the ones that we already have, excellent speakers, and they exemplify what you'd want in young people, and they all exemplify what's in that character development program that we run. And they will be speakers on that long after we're gone. We saw that there's going to be one more of us. That'll bring us back up to 79. But in 10 years from now, there'll be less than a dozen, and that'll include those 5 young people. They brought our average age down a year, and we're thinking about poisoning them. No, we're not. No, we're not. But they're outstanding, and they will handle the character development program to carry it on. And the reason that we are sponsoring it is because it's our legacy. It's what we can leave, and which we hope will be effective for the young people of our society to understand what it means to be a citizen of our great country, and the responsibility that goes with it. So when we talk about the character development program, we're speaking from our hearts to tell you and the teachers that we need this program to go. And we're spending the time and the effort to try to make it that way. We have to get to every student in every high school in the country to have it be a perfect success. Now, we know that's not going to happen overnight, and we know it's going to be difficult to get to every student. But we have to get to the teachers and have them carry the program on for us. So I want to thank all of you that are teachers. My favorite teacher, well, I had 2. When I was in 2nd grade, I fell in love with my 2nd grade teacher until I saw her kiss an Air Force guy outside the building one day. It broke my heart. But my favorite teacher in high school said I was educated beyond my intelligence level, and I was a sophomore. That's all right. I didn't realize I'd been insulted till I was a senior. She said that if I ever graduated from college, it'd be a cold day in hell. It was January of 1969 in Omaha, Nebraska. Boy, was it cold. My wife said, let's call Mrs. Cass because teachers love to hear from their students. Is that true, teachers? Oh, well, it wasn't so much true with Mrs. Cass. My wife had the phone number we called. I told her it wasn't a good idea. And Mrs. Cass answered the phone, and I said, Mrs. Cass, this is Bruce Crandall. And she says, I know your voice. That's a little nerve-wracking. It didn't get any better. I said, you may be surprised or pleased to know that I got a bachelor's degree today, and I graduated at the top of the class. I got straight A's. There was silence. And she said, Bruce, I'm proud for you, but this can be looked at in two ways. This could just show how far in the bucket the education system has gone in 70. Needless to say, when I got to be got my master's degree, I didn't bother calling. That you teachers can use that line about educated beyond my intelligence level. Make sure the kid understands he's being insulted. I'd like to speak one more thing about this character development program. It also adds to the family. And the most important part of our careers in the military has got to be our families, because all of us are going to have multiple careers in the military that are in today, and we know it. And we should be preparing for the other careers while we're in. The career with your family should take first prize, and when we talk to our young military, we tell them that. And this goes for not just the military. There's many of you out there that are in jobs that is your first career. And if you're married, that should be your second career, because that first career should last you the rest of your life to be successful at it. And we want our young soldiers to take care of their families first, and then their career in the Army. And then whatever careers they're going to go to, prepare while they're in the Army, get the education and do the things that are necessary. And they're going to have 3 or 4 careers. And the reason for that is because we're going to leave them so far in debt, they're going to be working until they're 80. But we think that the character development program will give us better soldiers, will give us a better defense. And that's important to us. Today we have the best military we've ever had. And anybody suggests we should go back to the draft don't understand what the hell happened when we had the draft. The draft gave a local judge or a sheriff the ability to tell a soldier, or a future soldier, that actually is a thief, that robs gas stations or holds up the local grocery store, or shoplifts. They gave him the choice of go in the Army or go to jail, and we took him because we had the draft. We had to take anybody that was coming. We're not a social organization. We're not there to make Johnny a good boy. We prefer to have good boys, and we'll try to make better men out of them. But when we had the draft, we had the largest stockades we ever had. So all it did was change where they went to jail. They'd go instead of jail at home, they came to us and we put them in our jail. And we had the largest stockades that we've ever had. We also had the highest crime rates in the military, and the local communities really hated having the installation close by because they were robbing gas stations and doing things like that. So today we don't have that problem, and it's just because we don't have the draft. The draft gave us a lot of good people, more seniors and type. But the people we have on board now have got pretty good character development in their history. because they can't be drug peddlers and they can't be people that have been in trouble. Today in the newspaper, right on the front page, it says, why some child stars fall apart. Showbiz can corrupt, but not all young celebrities struggle. Though that's a proof that there's a bunch of those people that keep getting in trouble. They don't have no self-respect, have no respect for others, and have no understanding of the character development program goals and objectives and those type of moral standards. So, teachers, you might have students like me. My batting average was 3 times my grade point. I was still graduating, but that's true about the batting average. I hit over 600, and I wanted to have a career in baseball, but that didn't work out so well. I got a draft notice from the Army. It says, greetings, you've been selected by your friends and neighbors. And I want to tell you something. I only had 2 friends. If they ever go to the draft again, they got to change that damn notice. And what they should put is, greetings, you've just been had by Uncle Sam. And we'd all understand. Back to the character development program. And you've got our legacy in your hands. And I hope that what we do here today and what you do back home reflects that. We trust you. We admire you. We understand that teaching profession was almost like Vietnam for us as far as the respect. You get blamed if the student fails. We got blamed because the damn war kept going. Neither one of those are correct. So I pray that you carry the ball for us. We won't have that ability. So when you go back to your schools, I hope that you can implement the program. And I hope that 10 years from now, those of us that are left will have all the assistance we need coming from this direction. Thank you very much. And I want to show you my little friend here, because he's a server, and he goes to the wounded warriors, and I put him on a bed, and their eyes light up even if they're wounded or brain damaged, and he keeps me alert. I don't hear telephones, I don't hear the doorbell, I don't hear the clock ring, but he does, and he gets me up. So Huey, say hello. You can come out. Come here. Stick 'em up, Huey. Stick 'em up. Stick 'em up. Down. Now this is the best part. Huey, bye-bye. If I could have taught my kids to be that responsive, I would have retired as a first lieutenant. Thank you very much.
You want to ask questions?